1 year ago, I embarked on this journey to capture the sprawling social club that is the Melbourne Car Scene. Unfortunately, my project was forced to halt thanks to a global pandemic and an Australian-wide lockdown. With Melbourne under strict new laws and everyone forced to stay at home, it was not ideal to continue filming. Fast forward 8 months and Melbourne is nearly back to normal. With events slowly popping back up this summer, it definitely feels refreshing to be back in the scene again. My name is Jacob DeGuara and you're watching Passion Driven Part 2.
Is this them?
Yeah, it's them. No, we're just...
Hey, Dry, you hear that?
There they go.
I have spent the better half of a year following the car scene and actively documenting my experience. And as I explained in part 1, there are many opportunities to have fun and make lasting friendships because of the cars we love. In this final part of Passion Driven, we take a look at the aftermath of the COVID-19 lockdown and how car enthusiasts are bringing the scene back to life. To think there used to be a curfew here,
Yep.
and people are like used to staying indoors. Like there's some cars pulling in here.
Yeah, it looks like a shed.
Right behind me is Daniel's Donuts, which is normally filled with JDM cars and cars of all types just waiting to go and cruise around and enjoy the nightlife. But it looks like it is pretty empty. As you see, there's just literally nothing going on. And that is probably to do with the closing time for Daniel's Donuts and also people still getting used to not having restrictions such as the curfew, which ended about a few weeks ago. So this is going to be a point where we can look back on this, seeing a car park that is really empty at 2 a.m. to seeing it sprawling with life about a year from now. So stay tuned for that, because that is going to be really insane. Little did I know that a few days later, the car scene was bustling with life. Perfect. So what is your definition of a car enthusiast?
Look, I think it's a very broad term. In my eyes, a car enthusiast is really anyone that enjoys being around cars. You don't need to know anything. As long as you enjoy it, that's all that matters, really.
What makes the car community such an amazing place to socialize?
I think everyone just kind of considers it a friendship from the get-go. Like, as soon as you meet someone else that's into cars, you form almost a bond that you just become friends quite quickly because you have that common interest. When it comes to socializing, you can go up to anyone at a meet and talk to them about their car, or they can come and talk to you about your car or the new car that's coming out in 2 months. Like, there's always something to talk about.
I mean, getting into the car scene was still, I maybe decided to get into it about a week or two before the first lockdown hit. which is sort of detrimental to the whole thing. So for me, the only experiences that I've really had as a car group have come while I've been in lockdown, and thankfully I've been in work the whole time, and there's a good couple of people at work who do also appreciate cars. I haven't been to any car meets per se. I haven't really had the opportunity to go out for a cruise, but I know that it's a case of when everything lifts up and when we're ready to do so, I'm going to be taking some time off work, and I'm going to be, doing it on force. I'm going to go out to, I don't know, Ballarat for the day. Coming out of the lockdown, I'd expect that it's actually going to be a better time for me to get into the scene than for people who aren't doing it out of the lockdown. And that's mainly because for people who have decided that they want to be part of the car scene, they can ease themselves into it, because meets and that sort of thing are kind of few and far between, or they're going to be, or at least the smaller ones are more frequent. Coming out of lockdown though, everyone's going to be raring to go. There's going to be cruises planned to go as far as, we'll probably go from Victorian state border to border.
Before I had a Honda, I had all Nissans, and I actually owned an S14 Silvia, which I bought in the early 2000s for $20,000. They dropped right down to about $7,000 or $8,000, and now they've gone back up to about $30,000. After the Silvia, I had a 32 GTR, which I bought that car for $12,000. It's now worth $80,000 or $90,000. I don't have that anymore. I crashed that one. So then I got a 33, and it was $20,000, and it's probably worth around about the same now, 70 or 80. No, all GTRs. I bought the last GTR I bought in 14, and I sold it in 15. When I was younger, it was every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, hanging out with my mates in cars. As I got older, it was car events only, and only when something special was happening, or if there were certain races or certain meetups, we'd go, but otherwise just keep to ourselves. I think once you get sort of over 25 towards 30, life starts to happen, so you limit your excursions to special events.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Here we go. For the sake of social distancing, he has to stay in his car. I'm gonna bring my stuff with me. Okay.
Are we rolling?
Yeah, we are rolling actually. I didn't see what you did, but okay. I'll look at it later.
I'm Michael, I'm a apprentice mechanic at this time, and I drive a Honda Civic. Honda!
How long have you been a car enthusiast for?
I have been a car enthusiast for, more enthusiast since when I could drive, but I've loved cars like for as long as I can remember. When I started my apprenticeship and when I wrote my old car off, my manager at the time said, hey, you can crash with me, but there's only one caveat to this, you got to buy a Honda. And I'm like, sick.
So
alright, yep, I'm doing it.
You got bullied into buying
Pretty
a
much,
Honda.
yeah, but it's a
Do
thing.
you regret it?
Not really. I love it. So this is the second Honda I've owned.
What did you own before?
So this is my third car. So my first one was a red Honda Civic sedan, which was a gift from someone in my family, and I was starting to do a little bit of work to it, like aesthetically, and someone slammed into the back of me, and that one was gone. I never really had it for too long anyway. I had it for like less than 6 months, and that's what happened. And then after that was my Corolla, I think. Yeah, it was Corolla.
What's your Corolla?
The black Corolla I had that for maybe a year, maybe a little longer than a year. And when I moved to Melbourne and down in Frankston, from when I started my job, I got brake checked and slammed into the back of that.
So during 2020, we had coronavirus impact a lot of our car communities, car events, and car scene in general. What I found is that everyone who is a true enthusiast is just raring up, ready to go for 2021. And the most important thing about the freedoms that we now have, that we probably may have taken for granted last year, when we learnt that we couldn't travel more than 5 kilometers from our homes, is that we all love driving. We all love going and experiencing things, and being with our friends is the forefront of what gets us out of bed in the morning to go out and see each other. So in 2021, I'm envisioning that the car scene goes back to what it really is all about, and that's the friendships and going places and making experiences together. What I would say was the worst thing about the stage 4 lockdown was the 5-kilometer law. I would have loved on those weekends to go out for a nice drive to the mountains, but unfortunately that's like more than 20 k's from my house. Also, a bunch of my friends live beyond 5 kilometers from where I live, and it was hard for us to meet up in a neutral space in between. So what I'm taking advantage of right now with the relaxed laws is that ability to go as far as I'd like to go and see friends that I normally wouldn't have seen during the whole stage 4 lockdown, which, mind you, 2020 felt like it went on for more than 12 months. And being locked down for over 9 months, it's fair to say that I really miss getting back out onto the roads. So now every weekend I just take advantage of that. So I see 2021 as being a year where we take everything we learnt last year in 2020 with the lockdowns, with the restrictions, with the inability to see the people that matter to us the most, and we put all that learning into 2021 where we can actually apply that in the sense of we're going to see our friends more, we're going to make time for those that matter most to us. We have automotive vehicles. We can go anywhere we want right now. So why not go make something out of it? Every weekend experience something new. And I feel that in 2021 we're going to make a lot of new experiences together.
Hi, my name's Rosh. I've had my S2000 for over a year now. I started in the car scene with the DC5. That's when I met all my friends that I have right now, which I'm pretty grateful for. So yeah, met a lot of people through the car scene, absolutely love it. It's something that I didn't even know about at the start. It's a good way to learn by meeting people that are into the same thing.
As a member of the car community, have you noticed any difference between pre-COVID car scene and post-COVID car scene?
Not much, I reckon. I feel like more people have better parts now because I guess if you got like JobKeeper or whatever during COVID and you weren't spending much money, you're spending it all on your car now. But yeah, I reckon it's pretty similar, so not much of a difference in my opinion. Worst thing would definitely be not being able to go out and see my friends, or even go for a drive pretty much, because obviously when the 5K was there, couldn't drive too far, and especially because I live down in Southeast, not much things around me in 5Ks. And things I took for granted was seeing my friends, I reckon, and having, chills at wherever place we used to go, car wash or whatever, because all my friends live definitely all further than 5Ks. So yeah, that was one of the biggest things.
How do you see 2021? Will it be better or worse than 2020?
I reckon it'll definitely be better. Hopefully we'll get a vaccine coming out soon. I know there's a few coming and there's a few being tested. So hopefully one of them works out pretty well. But yeah, compared to 2020, I reckon it's going to definitely be better.
Well, I know for me, I wouldn't have learnt anything about cars without a lot of friends that were already car enthusiasts. So joining the LLA group really taught me a lot about, working on cars, what I need to look for, etc. Especially when I was attempting to purchase my first JDM kind of car. And everyone's always willing to help. So it's kind of, just a whole big community.
Have there been any effects on your mental health due to the temporary prohibition of social activities?
Look, I think everyone is experiencing some form of mental impact. I'd say I'm quite well off. I'm not in a very largely impacted area. I'm up in rural Victoria, so I've gotten away from a lot of it. I was in Melbourne, and it was pretty bad, but I got out before the stage 4 restrictions that were quite tough.
Yeah, it's very lucky.
The car community is just full of people that follow that excitement or that reaction, and then being able to socialize with them, share your experiences, share your passions. That you do get the the elitists that will be like, you don't know enough, or you'd like the wrong type of car and you can't sit with us. On Wednesdays we wear JDM. But yeah, it's just generally the community is pretty great. You don't get too much of the toxicity, but with every community it's there. It's becoming hard to deal with. and like you just start wishing it's over. Because like it's really hard to live life with nothing to look forward to. Currently, like, what you look forward to restrictions ending, but then they get doubled, and it's like you just keep getting beaten down, and it's just, you know, what's the point of hoping when it's just you keep getting disappointed.
After the stage 4 restrictions and lockdown were eased from Melbourne and regional Victoria, cruises and meets started to make a return once again. It is currently 5:46 in the morning, way too early to do anything, and I am not really the type of person to be waking up at like 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to go out somewhere, but for some things I do make an exception. When you are fully engaged in an activity you enjoy, it becomes easier to allocate time to them, even if it means waking up hours earlier than you would normally want to wake up. For people like me, going on scenic drives or attending weekly meetups give us that kick in the backside to move forward. So there you guys have it. That is the ending that I wanted for Passion Driven. I wanted to center it around the community and all of the enthusiasts that take part in it. I wanted to show you guys how we recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it is time for me to give my piece on it. So I've been in the car community since 2018, which is when I got my first car and when I started making friends in the scene and going on adventures. In all of those now 3 years in the scene, this year that passed has been one of the hardest and most troubling ones out of all of them. The inability to go see your friends, the inability to go on adventures and drives, and the inability to basically express yourself as a car enthusiast is definitely one of the hardest times out of all of them. But we have gotten through it, and 2021 has prospered in the sense that the community is now almost fully healed. We are almost back to the way it was before the pandemic. The only thing standing in our way at the moment is our itinerary. Events are slowly coming back. Unfortunately, I'll be missing a fair few of the ones in January and February due to both going on holidays and also starting my first year at TAFE. So unfortunately, I won't be attending all the events that are coming up that I'm super keen for, but I will definitely be attending the events that I'm 100% keen on and that also fit into my schedule. So without any further ado, I now consider Passion Driven to a close. It is now time to show you guys my ending montage with all of my favorite clips and even some small bloopers if I have any. Anyway, thank you guys so much for sticking by me with this journey. It has been a very rough but also very rewarding year and a half of recording and filming. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next videos. Bye bye.
I keep on working, got purpose and worth. Music's my cure and this world is my purse. Get rid of this curse with every verse. Of course I've been hurt, but some have been much worse. Leave me alone, get out of my head. Block out the opinions until I am dead. They all go to speak, but you listen instead. Listen some more and you'll cease to regret. I keep on working, I got it on track. You gonna see my name up on a flag. I sail the ship and I'll never come back. I keep this bitch on the line to attack. Changed myself, I've always stayed the same. No doubt. I've always played the game all out, and I am here to stay right now. So don't call it a comeback.
Yeah, now turn that off. That's my jam. Properly.